Hey there, my name is Pravus, and welcome to more Hearts of Iron 4. We are back with the Old World Blues mod, which has been updated to the latest version of the game since the release of No Step Back. Actually, several major mods have been since updated, which is great. But for some reason, I decided to go with the post-nuclear war Earth option. I wonder why. Anyway, let's go ahead and start up a new game. Now, I've been trying to think about who we should play this time around, and of course you guys know that I am a sucker for the Brotherhood of Steel. I thought about playing them in California, but it looks like the West Coast actually might be getting an update at some point in the near future for the mod. So instead I'm going for the slightly lesser known and a bit more precarious option with the Mojave Chapter of the Brotherhood of Steel. These guys are situated in a position where they're going to be attacked by Caesar's Legion pretty early on, and it might be a little bit tough to survive, but we're gonna give it a go. Founded by Father Elijah, a scribe who miraculously became an elder within the Brotherhood, the Mojave Chapter was established for an expedition into the Mojave Desert. Despite optimistic early prospects, their results were lacking, which frustrated Elijah greatly. Grasping at the wasteland from their stronghold in Hidden Valley, the Mojave Chapter prepares to send numerous manned expeditions across the wasteland at Elijah's frantic request. He dreams of the old world and of harnessing the power of the sun. Whether or not his subordinates share his vision remains to be seen. So we are this tiny little nation right over here. Yeah, it's gonna be a really fun place to fight, no doubt about it, but we'll see what ends up happening with this. I'm pretty sure a lot of the guides for this are very outdated since I think that the Scorpions and such appear to be gone. It is the Mojave Territories and stuff now. So we'll see what happens with that. No Iron Man mode, thank you very much, because I'm pretty confident I might need to reload after screwing up, and I don't want to have another repeat of the Bone Dancers situation. That was a true tragedy. Alright, let's go ahead and load up the Mojave chapters and we will see how long we can last. Now again, Caesar's Legion is probably going to be attacking fairly early on, which very much concerns me, so, we'll see what ends up happening with that. Let's take a look first at things like our research. We have 5 research slots at the beginning. Well, that's not half bad, okay. And given that we are prime intellectuals, big brain boys, I imagine we have a lot of technology already researched, including power armor, my favorite, yes. I actually wonder if the tank designer has been applied to this in any way. It might have been, I don't know. We're going to end up wanting things like machine guns very early on because they do provide a pretty reasonable amount of defense early, and we're probably going to need to entrench a fair bit, so we'll start working on some of those. Should definitely go look at some of the engineering and tech options. Of course, we do want to get some research, which, by the way, now appeals to refugees as well. I wonder when that changed. Diplomacy distance? Interesting, and also more a refugee assimilation factor. Well, we'll get the reinforced rate, that'll be important. Then as far as industry, let's go for some construction tech for sure, and then maybe max factories. Is that a little early? We could go for some extra monthly population kind of early on and try to stack up that manpower, which isn't a half bad idea, but I think what we're gonna really need early on is some equipment. So I think instead, let's go ahead and grab some production efficiency base, as well as retention. As we start researching new forms of technology, I want to maintain that efficiency a little bit, if at all possible. Okay, so we have a handful of divisions. What are these divisions going to look like, I wonder? Let's see. For our Paladin patrols, we have 10 combat width. Probably should increase that just a smidge, maybe add in an extra one at some point. Special battalions, yeah, power armor. We'll want to do that, get it up to 12.5 fairly early on, I think. We start off with anti-tank, which I can't see as being the most important thing in the world, but alright. Night patrols are only 6 combat width. That's going to be pretty pathetic, but alright. What else do we have? We have militia forces, and we have spec ops divisions. Yeah, I'm probably not going to make much use out of those either. Alright. Civilian factories, we pretty much should just focus on getting some civilian factories up ASAP, because we, of course, are going to need to get a good infrastructure together. And ideally, I'd love to conquer some of my local neighbors. I'm thinking people like Mountain Springs and Hopeville will be great, the Divide. Start conquering some early territory, but we will see what our options are. So Elijah is an isolationist and a distrusted elder. Stability goes down, and we are gradually losing intellectual support. That does not strike me as very good. Let's go for this first focus, the Wasteland's last great mind. Last great mind, are you sure? Yeah, maybe. I mean, that seems a little bit pretentious if you were to ask me. We've got Bunker Blues, which apparently means that we are not very vulnerable to things like bombs. Okay. Not good at trade deals either, unfortunately. Very good at producing energy cells, which would be important for power armor, of course. Damage to garrisons, and if you own La Resistance, The idea also adds some counterintelligence and crypto strength. Okay. And then Operation Sunburst Preparation. We cannot be kicked from factions. Can't accept volunteers. Yeah, this is terrible. This is terrible in so many ways. Ugh, I hate it. Okay. The officer corps apparently are still a thing, so yeah, that's going to be interesting. That's been integrated since the addition of the No Step Back expansion. We should probably start trading up armies immediately, even if it does cost me some equipment, because army experience is just so very, very important. And what do we have as far as leaders? Looks like they're all some sort of AI. Bunker Kid for entrenchment can be really helpful. I mean, engineers don't exactly exist in this mod, so anything with entrenchment is usually really strong. And it looks like everybody has that. We're also agile for movement and pain train. That seems pretty good. Chance to get sick? No. Strong, intelligent. I think we're going to go for you. You seem like a reasonable enough leader, and I think the extra movement plus stronger power armor is going to end up being pretty darn good for me. Whoop. All right, the Wasteland's glass mine is done. A scribe of the Brotherhood of Steel. Elijah defied convention and rose to the rank of Elder, an honor usually reserved exclusively for paladins. An exception was granted for him on the grounds of him being a genius, able to figure out the workings of a device just by looking at it. He's practically the Tony Stark of the old world, right? Let's see. His scientific acumen was matched only by his drive to recover and develop technology. His approach towards technology, iterating and improving rather than simply preserving it, was considered unorthodox by his peers. Elijah often dispatched scribes on tech retrieval missions, chasing all the leads he found. His drive to develop new technologies put him at odds with the more conservative members of the Brotherhood, particularly other elders. Gained base war support, which admittedly is pretty high right now, so meh. Base stability would be really good, or a bit of both. 5% of both? You know, as much as I want the extra war support, I have to say I think the base stability is going to be more important. It's going to translate into more political power and factory output, and I like war support. That is good to change up some of your laws early, but yeah, I feel like I need this. Caps are updated. Yes, I've already played 3.2. Thank you for the free caps. Gotta remember that the economy is still very much going to be a thing, though truth be told, I rarely seem to have much issues with it. All right, new focus. Journey into the Mojave. We'll find out what happens with that. Boom, done. A pathological control freak, he would often view the people under him as mere equipment, expecting them to carry out his orders and requests unquestionably, while dissent or unpredictably on their part would not just annoy but even outright infuriate him. Unpredictability infuriated him. Fair enough. By far the only person with whom he had any kind of working relationship was scribe Veronica Santagello, his pupil. The conflicts Elijah had with the other members of the Brotherhood only worsened as Elijah pushed for developing new technologies and new ethically questionable weapons. The elders, rather than deal with him, decided to send him and a small accompanying Brotherhood force away to the east to investigate the Hoover Dam and the possibility of bringing it back to functionality. We can make Veronica stronger, or Veronica gets defense. So attack or defense. I think defense, probably, because I think we're going to need as much of that as possible. Yeah, we'll go for that and we'll see what ends up happening. The Mojave Conflict. There we go, Operation Sunburst. Ooh, under intense pressure from his superiors back home, a conflict is inevitable between the Mojave Expedition and the Mojave Brotherhood. An assault on Helios 1 will be launched. Interesting. So we have a ticking time bomb going right now. Like children playing with bombs. Okay. We get Elijah and his newly formed Mojave chapter arrived. They were too late. Just 1 year prior, the new California Republic, a republic with whom the Brotherhood had been fighting for over 100 years, had claimed it for themselves. Elijah was furious, likening it to children playing with a bomb. With the dam under occupation, Elijah could do little else besides set up operation with his secondary objective, a power station known as Helios 1. There he would plan for the fall of Oliver and reclamation of the dam. Gain a civilian workshop or an arms workshop. I have to say I think the civilians are going to be the best for now. We can always convert those later if necessary. All right, so now we've got a few options. And by the way, this is a very straightforward tree. There's not like several different columns to worry about, but there's a lot of branching paths within it. So we'll see what happens here. Let's see. You can go for more civilian workshops, which seems really good, or arms workshops, or one. Well, this just seems directly better. I mean, 400 equipment and 3 arms workshops, or you pick this and it lets you get more things. Oh, I see. So short-term gain or long-term gain, I get it. Let's see. Logistics skill, no thank you. Civilians, blah, blah, blah. Then we can do even more civilians in the long term. Or cheaper research for power armor. Tempting. I think we should go ahead and optimize Helios 1, and I will take the long-term goal of going for as many civilian factories as possible. Though again, knowing that we are on the clock, it kind of makes me wonder if we really should be going down this route and rushing down something over here instead. I mean, there's something to be said about that. Maybe. Maybe I'm going into this completely wrong right off the bat. I really wish that there was a functional guide of some sort, but alas and alack, I don't think that there is. Let's see. I don't think we need to worry about changing any of our laws yet. Wasteland Economy, it would be nice to go towards something like funding the economy or well-equipped economy fairly early on, just to get a bit more value out of my civilian factories. If and we can do that. I'd like to. I'd like to do that a lot. Hey, where can I go, by the way? It looks like I'm surrounded by mountains, so the only option for me is to literally attack the Mojave Territories, who are in a faction with the Ncr. Maybe they break apart or something. Is that a thing? Maybe they break apart? I really hope they break apart because I have no idea how the heck we're supposed to expand. We're going to find out what the National Focus does for me. This may actually be horrible. We'll find out. So Helios 1 has been optimized. Now we can go for more civilian workshops. These both do the exact same thing, so I guess it doesn't matter too much what I do. We'll just pick one of them, start getting those civilian factories up and running. We have 7 now, which is something. Construction basics, good. That's going to help a little bit. Got a lot of technology done all at the same time. Do we want to go for the work assignments for more factory output, 12%, but we lose some growth? I hate losing growth. I really do. I feel like growth is so stinking important. We're going to go for work as needed with that. We're going to go for some more construction technology. We're going to go ahead and grab the tool procurement, and let's go for, that's a bit ahead of time, so I can't justify that. Decryption, encryption, blah, blah, blah. All right, can't do any of those. We could start working on air forces, and I imagine that close air support is still a thing. Hello, doctrines. Doctrines are not paid for with experience in the latest version of Old World Blues? Well, I didn't know that. Okay, well, knowing that that's the case, actually, we should have been going ahead and dedicating one of our research slots to that early on. I kind of assumed that it was going to work the way the No Step Back does, but apparently not. We got the Officer Corps. We did not get the doctrines via experience. But you know what? That actually puts me at a slight advantage, because I'm one of the few people that's smart enough to have the 5 research slots. So we're going to do that. Let's see. Produce consumer goods, blah, blah, blah. I mean, as good as all of this would be for some political actions, again, I think we're just going to hold off, get that 100 we're looking for there. Can I go to a well-equipped army and save myself 10 consumer goods and build factories a lot faster? The answer is going to be yes. Let's go ahead and do that now. Boom. All right. So that'll greatly increase the speed at which I am producing my factories. So now we're up to 8. Didn't do a lot with consumer goods, but it saved me 1 factory that way. Someone declared war on the Kaiser's Legion. How very bold and suicidal. What were you thinking? I do not know. We have a couple more civilian factories that we are now working with, so we're building up even faster. It's all about trying to ramp, dang it. Though, really, when you're a tiny nation like this, I mean, anytime you can conquer nearby territories, just generally speaking, that's going to be the best way to go. So what do we have as far as, like, testing the bear? Trials and tribulations. Local supplies? That's just what? Supply for your troops? That's interesting. I haven't seen that as, like, supplies as a mechanic there before. Tend to your business. Curious if any of these... Looks like this is like a sabotage route or something. It reduces or damages infrastructure for a few people. Death and glory. Does any of this lead to me conquering things? Lucky old son. So obsessed elder makes our leader worse in some way. Then a bunch of research bonuses for building technology, encryption, and so on. Spears from the sun. Or we could go down a paladin's route. Make Veronica better. Supply consumption, manpower base stability, make Veronica even better, increase our preparation. See, this is what's interesting. We have this whole testing the bear thing, and it clearly is going to set up a new mechanic because several of these do something called increasing preparation. And I don't know what that means, but I'm betting that's going to end up being very, very important. We'll find out. I could be wrong. Ouroboros declares war on the Old Bones. Don't know who the Old Bones are. Oh, I see Gimli just hanging out there, laying outside the door, like literally through the crack in the door, he's just watching me. That's kind of sad, but also adorable. Raw Poseidon energy. With the power of Poseidon at my hands, I don't know. We're getting some preparation even from this. Again, what is preparation? Hang on. Does it have something to do with this? Okay, hang on. The victor of this struggle will likely be decided on the preparation for the class rather than pure strength alone. The more prepared you are, the stronger your forces will fight and the weaker your opponents. Huh. Also, we have something here called Elijah's Great Search. We should conduct spy operations upon Vault 3, as it is likely that if or when we conquer the vault, the fools who own it will have destroyed what we might find barbaric foolishness. Vault 3. Where would Vault 3 be? Right here? There it is. So they're saying we should spy on these guys. I'm inclined to believe that you're correct. Maybe we should just go ahead and spend 2 factories to real quick create ourselves a circle of steel agency and find out what the heck is going on. I kind of like the symbol of the Brotherhood of Steel, so we'll just go with that. Yeah, let's get a spy going, and let's find out what the heck is going on. Survey Repconn headquarters, a special mission just for us, located in Vault 3. Is no doubt full of interesting tech and salvage. The possibilities are endless and might lead to breakthroughs. I like breakthroughs! Breakthroughs are good. We like breakthroughs a lot. We have to go down this route, of course, because we are going to be very sophisticated in our tech, so why go for the cheap stuff when we have the long-term options instead? Also, just more production efficiency cap and growth. In particular, that growth is really, really good. I haven't even been looking at our production. I mean, some energy weapons and some power armor does kind of seem like the way to go. I don't like that we need anti-tank weaponry. We could potentially add in a new battalion soon and make these guys just a little bit stronger, and I think I will. A lot of people are declaring wars, but I'm missing out on all the action, and it makes me sad. It does. It makes me sad. All right, we now have access to the machine guns. That'll be good. I don't care too much about some of these things, like the vehicles right now. We're going to have power armor. Could go for some production efficiency cap and appeal to refugees. Or I could try making my infantry better in some way. Division training time reduction? Maybe. A lot of this stuff is really far ahead of time, so we're not going to take advantage of much of this. Slave callers, a division template, yeah. Those are things. Enforcers. I don't use them pretty much ever. I think this mostly functions as, like, your policing unit, though. Division training time and working toward the extra infantry defense is probably a wise choice, since, again, we're going to have a conflict early on. I have to imagine having a stronger defensive force is a good idea. Raw Poseidon energy is done. Still can't move down to testing the bear. The question now is, do we go ahead and work with the gun runners just so we can start rushing down this now? And let me think about that. If we look at our decisions here, we have 308 days. If I go down this route, that's going to take up a full 120 before we get down to this, then another 150 to get to testing the bear, then 40, 40, 40. So we might not get down all the way over here in order to get our preparation up. I hate to do it, but I feel like we need to go for working with the gun runners just so I can move immediately onto this and start getting that preparation up. I mean, this also gets me some preparation, like 5, but it's not enough, and it sounds like the more preparation I have, the better. So yeah, we're going to work with the gun runners. This takes 60 days, but it's better than the 120. We get less factories out of it, but that's why I went for the full civilian route, just so we would be able to try to make up some of that by building out these civilian factories a heck of a lot faster. Maybe. I don't know. This feels a bit risky. How are we doing as far as logistics? Well, predictably, we don't have any anti-tank weapons, and we kind of have been burning through all of those. So yeah, that's a thing. That's going to be fun. The Vipers have been annexed by the Desert Rangers. That's not really surprising. Basic caravans. Okay, so do we actually have to worry about, like, the trains thing, you know, from No Step Back? Is that a thing? That'd be interesting. It'd be very interesting. Let's go ahead and get you guys set up to 5 power armors. We could actually go for a PA fire team, which would be interesting. That does take up some fire team weaponry that I don't have, though, so we're just going to go ahead and move you like so. That brings hardness up to 50%. Yeah. Okay, that works for me. Let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to have to start reinforcing some of this, and I'm willing to bet we don't have enough power armor, but that's fine. The NCR declares war on the Rapids. You know, for an NCR that's supposed to be like a really peaceful, democratic, Republican stuff, you guys are a bunch of warmongers. I'm not even getting to be warmongery. I'd like to be. Mad Barmer. Yes, we'll pick you up. You seem fine. And let's go to our spy missions, and we need to get 40% spy network over Vault 3. So we're going to go ahead and set that up and let that sit for at least a little bit. As far as some decisions, we have a message here, but it's just telling me my quarterly income report is coming up. We are stacking up a handful of bottle caps. Actually, should we spend some bottle caps? We don't have enough. I was going to say we could do some stuff to try and like actually boost up things like the construction speed and so on, but nah. That's not going to be a thing. We could... Why is it saying we can't do this? Political bribes. Reducing economy loss costs and stuff actually would have been really nice, but we actually aren't allowed to do this for some reason. That's interesting. Anything else we could do? Discourage traders. I'm not going to worry about that right now. We could start adding in something like a chief of army. Anything that would allow me to get, say, some experience. There we go. Would be really good. Pick that sucker up. 0.15 per day is a lot. That is a hefty amount of experience, boy. Me likey. All right, we have woodworking done, and the trolls have taken some states. Unsurprising, trolls are aggressive. They are, in fact, trolls. Resource gain, maybe. Nah, I think we're gonna go ahead and start getting some monthly population, so I will be able to boost myself up a little bit more. Don't really care about the naval side of things too much. Could look for upgrades to support, but meh. Dynamite with explosives isn't a bad idea, but that's actually ahead of time. Wait, was I not supposed to go for the, I maybe wasn't supposed to do this yet. Ooh, I may have gone for an inefficient route. Let's go for some production efficiency cap and appeal to refugees. I'm probably not going to stick down a robotics route, but it is an option for me. Hello, buddy. Oh, look who is... Oh, here you go. Yeah, you're a little bit sad. You're a little bit sad that you got left behind. Look at that, Gimli. The chained choir declared war on the last patrol. He's grown so big, hasn't he? Boy's like almost 30 pounds now. He's a big honkin' chonker. He's actually one of the bigger corgis that I've seen. What a good boy. Oh, nope, hear me. Something happened. Following their recent establishment in our neighboring rivals, a group of humanitarian pacifists who dub themselves the followers of the... Oh, these are just like... Yeah, we've seen these guys before. They don't matter too much. Never mind, we'll skip some of that. Let them come or say keep them out. Hostile decisions it is. We're working with the gun runners. That is now Dunskies. Thank you very much. And let's go to our focus tree. We can now test the bear, getting some of that local supply and hopefully working down a route that will allow us to get as much preparation as possible. We have a new military factory. We should start making a little bit of anti-tank just to make up for the fact that, like, we apparently don't have any. It's not a lot, but it's better than what we've been losing, so I'll work with it for the moment. More factories, you know what? That means more power armor. And what would it take for me to train up just some simple infantry for defense? They also need anti-tank weaponry? My God. All right, well, this is one of the reasons we're running out of anti-tank weaponry. It's because we're freaking, like, everyone has it. Why does everyone have anti-tank weaponry? Like, almost nobody even has power armor. Why would I care? Oh, I don't know. All right, so let's see. As far as military high command, I'm just looking to see if there are any other experts that we should be getting. Maybe an economic advisor wouldn't be bad. Construction speed 10% is pretty decent, sure. Consumer good reduction is nice. I don't care about the cap income. We could go for controlling Nipton through fear. I kind of like the 10% construction speed early on. I feel like that's really quite good. Cultural advisor. Political power gain also quite good. Yeah, we should probably focus on getting something like that. This also would have made a lot of our laws cheaper too. Research speed, factory construction, more stability, and some war support. All three of these guys are really good. We like having paladins, man. Paladins are gonna be great. We have no slavery. Chems are banned. Centralized stockpiles are a thing. Can't do anything there. Blah, blah, blah. Undesirables, outsiders, outsider initiates. We could try to get more population that way, I suppose, but like, meh. Non-core manpower, non-existent. Yeah, that's not relevant in the early game. Once we start conquering some territory, I might start caring a bit about non-core manpower, but we're not at that stage. Not yet. I'm going to go ahead and go to our infantry and start building this out a little bit more with basic infantry. Get these guys up to, let's say, 10 combat width. That seems reasonable. I'm curious, by the way, what kind of, like, combat width are we even looking at? 60. 60? 60... I'm just checking, like, random spots, looking for anything to say. Did they rebalance all of the combat widths, or are they still all multiples of 10 or 20? I mean, 10 or 20. I mean, you get the idea. I guess I should say all of 10, but are they also all multiples of 20? Randomly, it looks kind of like yes. Okay, so all the combat width meta changes do not apply. That is what I am learning here. The meta changes, not relevant. National focus complete. Trials and tribulations. Our conflict with the Mojave Territories is inevitable. Soon enough, political pressure from the NCR Congress will place overwhelming force on General Oliver to launch his assault on Helios 1. The only way we can even hope to fend off their onslaught is through preparation, a unique dynamic modifier representing the struggle for initiative between the Brotherhood and the NCR. When Operation Sunburst occurs, the current balance of preparation will be set in stone, so we need to make sure we have prepared as much as possible. We could get some cheaper techs, we can get manpower, or we can lose some stability. I hate losing stability, but I also hate the idea of losing to the NCR. I don't know if I like this. I don't know if I like what I just did with the 10% there, but I'm hoping this is the right choice. I just don't know how impactful it actually is. So here's the thing. The quick look at a lot of this stuff, I mean, as much as I enjoy sabotaging, I don't think that's that important. This doesn't strike me as that good. It's just a handful of research bonuses. But the Veronica route actually seemed pretty good. Some base stability, plus we just get a better general, more manpower, more stability and stuff, all of that. Plus, she looks like she has the best preparation value. So I think I might go down that route. We're going to go down Veronica. It's going to take 40 days, so it's a long process. She can make people care, though. She can make people care. It's what she's good at. All right, so there's nothing else I need to do down the industry route, at least for another year or so. So what else would I like to do? Motorcycles, blah, blah, blah. You know what? It's time to go ahead and research some gliders. Let's start working toward getting some early game close air support. No one seems to ever have control of the skies. But more close air support has got to be good. If it's good in the base game, it's got to be good in the mod, right? Infantry, breakthrough, and max speed, but longer training time. I will accept that. Let's go ahead and start working on it. If I wanted to train up some additional infantry, we could try, but we don't have enough equipment, mainly in the form, of course, of these gosh dang anti-tank weapons. But alright, we're still just trying to get all of our current divisions up to full strength. That's all I'm trying to pull off right about now. Nothing I can do over there, fine, we don't care about robotics, I've already said that, blah blah blah. What about over here? No, doctrines, blah blah blah. What about, that's still ahead of time. Slave collars, no. There's actually not a ton that I need to research, weirdly enough, because we start with such an advantage. Could work on things like the basic motorcycles, but like, meh? I guess I could start working on things like encryption. It's not very good. I know that there are other things we could do that's a little bit ahead of time, and it's probably better, but like, we'll try it. All right, we need to get a political mastermind who's going to get me some extra political power gain. That's usually very important. More political power simply means you can change your laws more frequently. Also, we just made a lot of other laws a lot cheaper, so that's good. This is ahead of time. Darn it, would have loved to have had that 6%, but alas, we are not going to get to do that. Could go for some decryption. I mean, having technically an encryption and a decryption advantage, while I don't plan on using spies that much, is certainly a thing we could do. So we have only 18% spy network here in Vault 3. I'm kind of surprised that it's not a lot better, if I'm honest. Could go for some counterintelligence, visible ink. Is there anything I really want to do down this route? Do we want to expand this out much? I mean, it says it doesn't take any factories to do so, so I guess there's no reason not to. It just costs me bottle caps, and I'm not really doing much with bottle caps now, am I? Yeah, all right. Let's go for hire foreign heroes. We're gonna try to get somebody who's from Vault 3 so we can build things up faster and safer. We've got I Could Make You Care. Let's see. Veronica makes promises to Tabitha and the state of Utabitha they'll help them repair their radio transmission equipment if they help us. Wait, we're getting allies out of this? Ooh, okay. So not only are we getting a better general and more preparation and stability and manpower that I'm gonna need, but we're also potentially getting some small allies. I like this. Let's work with the Bright and see what's going to happen with this one. I mean, this could be really good. Could be. We'll see. All right, so maybe we actually do want to swap you out for Veronica then. Since Veronica apparently is like really stinking good. We could go for Pain Train, make the power armor better. I like that idea. That seems solid. Yeah, you know what? Sure, let's go ahead and get you Pain Train. Make you stronger with power armor, there we go, and you're going to end up being my best general by the time we are done. Speaking of done, the followers have established themselves, darn it, and we are going to be ending this video here. So there's a lot to do with the Mojave chapter here. I'm a little concerned about this whole war against the NCR thing, But you know, if we can get our preparation up and I have made the right choice to get through this as fast as possible, then maybe we will come out of this one ahead. We will see. Thank you all for watching. I hope you are looking forward to this series of Old World Blues. If so, of course, I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit that notify bell. And I will see you guys next time.